Well, a very special good afternoon, good evening, and thank you, friends, for tuning in to this edition of today's program. It is my humble delight and honor to come into your homes and also into your television sets. We do so on the kind courtesy of the ITV Gold family and also on behalf of Parekh Worldwide Media, Dr. Sudhir Parekh, and the entire team as well. A very special acknowledgement to Mr. Ravi Kumar and also the staff at management, ensuring we're able to bring this program into your homes and also into your television sets and into your hearts as well. Ladies and gentlemen, today, and as always, whenever I've had the opportunity of coming into your television sets, we always try to present to you the very best of the Indo-Caribbean and the South Asian diaspora here in North America as well as worldwide. Today we are going to do just that, as I have the privilege and honor of interviewing someone very, very talented, someone who's dedicated more than 15 years to the arts and crafts of music, and after 15 years his talent has been rewarded, in which he was offered one of the greatest opportunities, something some can say it was actually the moment of a lifetime, or a moment like this that some people would wait a lifetime, in which he got to collaborate, he got to write a song, for A.R. Rahman, who is a Grammy Award winner, and of course, who actually produced the song Jai Ho for Slumdog Millionaire. That individual I'm talking about, he joins with me on deck as we are going to talk about the experience of collaborating with A.R. Rahman for the Mani Ratnam's film, the Tamil film, as well as his previous works as well. So with great pride and enthusiasm, let me welcome Shiv to our program here today. Shiv, it's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm humbled by your introduction, so I appreciate you having me, Ron.
Thank you. Well, the pleasure is all ours, and of course, once again, congratulations. Now, before I do talk about it, all your journey as a singer and whatnot, to my understanding, I believe that you started off with a collaboration with A.R. Rahman for a Mani Ratnam film, a Tamil film. Originally, it was an 18-second rap, lyrical song, whatnot, and then because of the popularity, it then became a full-fledged song, which I would say garnished over 1 million views in about 24 hours. So congratulations, and we're very proud of you and also your success as well. Now, you're a hip-hop artist, actually. I have to correct myself on that. So 15 years as a hip-hop artist, and born and raised in Queens, New York, and you grew up in Long Island. Give our viewers a run through. Now, when and where would this actually persona and the idea of being a hip-hop artist coming from a South Asian home, where did the interest and when did it take place?
Yeah, well, when I was born, I guess, I was always born into a house of music. So my grandfather was a singer and a doctor, and my parents were always listening to music. My mother's a dancer. So it was always ingrained in me. Music was, the rhythm was just, always in the house. So I got introduced to, creating music when I started watching, MTV videos before school in 4th, 5th grade. And I believe Jay-Z, Eminem, when they were on their way up, that influenced me deeply because I would listen to the lyrics and I would be shocked at how much they can fit in one song and how much they can explain of their lifestyle and their culture and what they experienced. And I wanted to do the same because I had no outlet at that point. So I worked on it just silently. I started writing when I was in middle school and just kept going and going. And eventually I started showing it to my friends and they were like, that's actually pretty good. But it wasn't at that point, obviously. It was high school, early high school. But in college, I really got serious about it and started creating recording songs and showing it to my friends and getting feedback. And then eventually, I think maybe 2014 or 2015, I decided to go very public with it and promote it on my social media and present myself in that way with that brand.
So in a nutshell, you just listened to his evolution, his humble journey through this great field of music as a hip hop artist, and today we see the way how music is evolving from this, from that end of the world, from India, where there's so many who would tend to fuse Indian music with English songs and whatnot, and it's been well accepted. However, as you mentioned, some of the artists like Eminem, Jay-Z, and whatnot, I grew up, listening to them. I was a huge fan of
New
Eminem.
York.
Exactly, being being a typical New Yorker. But I could always recall as a young kid, and where you have traditional parents that are trying to preserve their roots, especially living here in New York City, I was always told, well, don't listen to that because of the lyrics and whatnot.
Right.
So coming from a household like yours, and as you said that your grandfather and your entire family being involved in music, you just mentioned your mom as well. Right. Did anyone ever say, okay, that's not the type of songs I want you to be listening to and singing?
Yeah, actually, I've been very blessed with parents who are completely very understanding and supportive of my craft, and they recognize it early that, I might have something with this, and they believe that the kids should do what they came here to do, what they came to America for a better life for us, and that includes whatever creative avenues we choose. They're creatives themselves, like I said, so they understand that you don't really choose what you end up loving and being passionate about. The passion kind of chooses you through exposure, right?
Right.
So they were very supportive through day one. I mean, they didn't like the cursing a little bit. I mean, I curse in some of my music.
Right.
My mom would always say, can you just make one or two songs without cursing so I can listen to it? So yeah, I've done that actually since. So, but yeah, I think that they've never really had that issue or said that rap was not good. They were always concerned, but about the cursing and the influence, but they knew they raised me well, so.
So when we think about it, I mean, music, whether it's R&B, whether it's country music or whatnot, or even if it's just simple Bollywood, it's all about expressing yourself. And I believe that many hip hop artists, many rap artists, they've all said that it's all about a matter of expression. It's just like who perceives it and the way how people take it. So okay, give us an idea. I mean, how much of your songs, and I've listened to a few of your albums, such as socially acceptable, socially exceptional actually, and
Social Exception.
Social Exception and Social Understanding.
Right.
And in those albums, of all the songs that's been produced there, how many of those songs would you say are based on your own personal experiences, and how much would you say is just freestyle?
That's a great question, actually. On my first project, Social Exception, that I released in 2016, I believe it would be half freestyle and half real anecdotes about my life or things I'm talking about that are very, very real, such as a song called History on Social Exception, which was, I think, track number 4. I think that's one of the most meaningful songs I have because it's about my father coming to America and having to have us and deal with all the struggles of his new life and our new life, and it's very close to my heart. So definitely half and half on that. With Social Understanding, I think I had a little bit more fun with it. It would be more 75-25. But there's always 1 or 2 songs in every one of my projects that are based on some real truths and give a little more insight into me, who I am as a person.
And in one of your songs, actually the longest, that was the first when I went, on your SoundCloud page, and I was browsing through all your music. So I decided to go to this one first, and then right away I heard, the vocals of Billy Joel, actually for the longest while. So, and you've mentioned some of your influence, such as Jay-Z, such as Eminem, but what about some of the other artists outside of hip hop? I mean, who would you say has influenced you to really step into music and discover this talent in yourself?
Absolutely. I think that a lot of emo bands like Blink-182, Sum 41, when I was in middle school, had really influenced my sound to be melodic, but still a little bit more high energy, like hip hop.
Right.
So it would be Linkin Park was huge, and I think that even the 70s and 80s music that my dad was listening to in the car when I was little, he came here when he was in his early 20s. So even the music he was listening to was very, it was a very Americanized, 70s, 80s pop music.
Correct.
And I think a lot of those influences like Billy Joel and Elton John, that has played a heavy part into the melodies in my music.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of the blend comes from hip hop and melodies.
All right, wonderful. So, when you look at all the music that you've put out, and of course your genre, your style of music, and then suddenly one day it comes down to it that it's gotten so much of recognition amongst other artists, here in North America and, other people as well. But then a person like A.R. Rahman, I mean, it's got the recognition of him. He decides that to reach out to you to basically ask you to incorporate your style in an upcoming film with Mani Ratnam. Now, Mani Ratnam, well-renowned, the film director and for his films, for all his work in Bollywood as well as Southern films. But what was that feeling? Did you ever think that someone from Bollywood will be the one to give you your big breakthrough?
I had no idea, first of all. I was shocked that, he would pick me to jump on a track that was for such a big project. Right. For the first time especially. I had been in touch with him and sending him my music for a while. He has definitely been a big influence in mine, but when we had been connecting, he'd always respond. He's always a humble and very attentive person and very easy to work with. So when he called me, he said, I have something that fits your style of music. And I was like, absolutely, anytime. I'd be humbled to do that. I'd be honored. And he sent me the track, and within maybe an hour, I had written like 40 or 50 lines to it. And I sent it to him around maybe 5 in the morning because he had called around like 10 p.m. So I sent it to him, and then he called me the next day. He said, oh, this is great. It's too much. It's only going to be in a small, background scene.
Correct.
So I said, okay, that's no problem. I picked 16 and I re-recorded it in a different fashion, a little high energy. As I'm sure you've heard Hayati. It's very fast-paced, high energy. I recorded that the next day, and I sent it back to him, and he said, it's great, thanks. It's fun, and I love your voice. And I was very shaken, like, that's amazing for to have someone with that background and that legendary status to say about somebody who's just up and coming is fantastic. So,
undeniable. I mean, it's truly a proud honor when a person of that caliber, like A.R. Rahman, today the world salutes him. They all bow down before him. And of course, he's had a humble journey just like yourself. And, he can safely say that it's been a journey well worth, actually. And I think that after the release of Jai Ho, that's when everyone really recognized the talent and the potential of Indians, not only in India, but here in North America as well. And we've actually seen a rise of so many singers, such as, I believe you were at the AIA Diwali, basically South Street Seaport Festival with Jazz Dami. Names like Jazz Dami, names like Jay Sean, they've actually made a complete impact in music worldwide. Now, as you mentioned, that you sent a complete song to A.R. Rahman, and it was only just an 18-second, rap song, rap lyrical. But because of the popularity of Hayati, and of course, of the popularity of that song, it then suddenly evolved into a full-fledged song. Now, describe that, actually.
Yeah, when he had emailed me the day the trailer came out, he had emailed me, said, congratulations on having the song in the movie, and I was floored, obviously, like that it was coming out and it was a reality. I mean, the project was going to be humongous, and I was just so excited about it. And when my manager, Siddhi, was looking through the comments, and she would be telling me about, people saying, what is that song at 41 seconds? What is that song? We need that song. Release that song. And it was like taking up a lot of the comment section. And I eventually called him and I said, people are talking about this song. Can we finish it? He's like, oh, I already saw that. We saw that. And we came up with something to release it as a full track. I think you'll like what we did with it. I said, it's like unbelievably incredible. So we ended up working it out, and it released, and it got 1 million hits in 24 hours,
right?
And 3 million hits in a week, and it's at almost 5 million now. So I'm just incredibly grateful that he gave me the opportunity, and it's in Tamil Nadu. I'm getting fan responses on Instagram, just telling me, I'm such a big fan of yours now. Thanks for doing this. Hayati's my favorite song, and I would never imagine, that would happen, especially only 2.5 years coming into the public scene with my music. For that to happen is just super exciting, to say the least.
So prior to Hayati, what would you say would be considered, because it's without a doubt, this you can call a defining moment, the turning point in your career as a hip-hop artist. But prior to that, what would you say was a previous turning point in your career that led to this stage?
That would be Social Exception, actually. Social Exception was the first project I really full-fledged came out with. A friend of mine had passed away on Thanksgiving Eve of 2015, and it kind of gave me a new perspective on life. I said, I do this music thing, and I show my friends, but life is short. We have to figure out a way that maybe I just spread it to more people, because I have a message, in my opinion.
Correct.
And I want people to hear that message, because maybe if it helps one person, it was worth it. So I ended up just working on that project all of 2016 and dropped it on the 1-year anniversary of his passing. And it meant the most to me, to say the least, to start that. And I got the response from that, and it just swelled from there.
So just by listening to him, I can recall the words of Gary Coleman, actually, in which Gary Coleman said, everyone's got a special kind of story. Everyone's got their time to shine. Doesn't matter if you got not a lot. They'll have theirs, you'll have yours, and I'll have mine. So that's your story. This is your time to shine. Hayati, whether it's social, whether it's actually social understanding, social exception, all these great albums that has been well received. But Hayati, as I said, is basically the turning point. Now, give us, at that point in time when I first got to know more about you, about 2 weeks ago, the song had actually crossed about 4 million views. Actually, now it's about 5 million, and well received in about 5 countries. So give us an idea as to where and what placement in the various countries it stands today.
Absolutely. It was #1 in Lebanon. Shout to Maisa Kara, who sang those beautiful Hayatis on the track and brought life to my raps especially. And it was well received in India. It charted at #5, and Malaysia as well. So I'm just very, very grateful that more ears around the globe are able to connect with my music and be able to be exposed to the other music that I have as well by coming to the social media platform from YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, however you can get to me. Listen to my music and let me know what you think, and I'll respond to as many as I can.
So, as you mentioned earlier, that when you started off just freestyling, writing a few songs, but then you decided that, you want to share your story. You want to go public with it on social media in your college years. And as I described that was actually your evolution process. Now, would you describe this as a new evolution for yourself as a hip-hop artist, that you now will move into a different frame of producing hip-hop music for more songs in India?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that it's very important to blend cultures together in music. I do it a little more subtly in the sense that I speak only in English, but I do speak about my culture, and I speak about my culture as a blended culture. So living in New York, but having immigrant parents, and having that blend of the influences that I have experienced in my lifetime. So I think that it's extremely important to have that blend of cultures and have that sound.
If you were given the opportunity to work with the likes of, let's say, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, or someone else in the hip-hop rap industry, let's say that opportunity presented itself today for an upcoming project, who do you see yourself working with, or who would you like to work with in the upcoming future?
Oh, without a doubt, J. Cole.
J. Cole.
J. Cole is the person who, when I was starting to get serious in college about rap, my influences were one thing, but who I was trying to style my own words around. I heard his Come Up tape, I heard the Warm Up, and all of the stuff he's dropped in that time period, and it completely changed the fact that I can do the melodies and the rapping at the same time. Yes, there was a Drake, but he was way more conscious, and I like to do that in most of my music as well. So definitely J. Cole.
You mentioned, you spoke a lot about your culture, your family, and, your background. And it was really good to hear that your family has been well receptive to your interest in hip-hop and, American music. However, in society today, and especially at a time like now, many traditionalists are still trying to rekindle, hold on to their roots, hold on to their culture. So when you go and you present your form of music to traditionalists, how is it received, and what do you say to them that, although the lyrics might be of such, yet it still conveys a message about the individual, so don't knock it, accept it. What's your message to them?
Exactly that. Just give it a chance. You never know. You never know. I mean, maybe the melody catches your ear and you start humming it in the shower one day. Don't fight that feeling. Listen to it. Right?
Exactly.
Play it. It's all good. That's what I think is important in music, is to catch the vibe of the song, not just worry about what it is or what genre. If there's a great country song, I don't listen to country music. If there's a great country song out there, like Shania Twain comes out with a new song and it's catchy, I'll listen to it. Because it doesn't matter what kind of music it is, as long as you connect to it in some way.
You know, remembering, listening to your words as well. I mean, anytime ever I ask you a question and your answers, it reminds me of some of the great people. So that shows that you're on your way. You're on your way to being listed amongst the elites. But Stephen Kapoor, young Indian kid from India, migrated to London, then transformed into Apache Indian. Now, in the 90s, actually, it was thought that he was humongous. But in the 90s, people had this idea that anyone who would sing dancehall or, you know, I mean, basically reggae had to be black. But then, you know, he was the first Indian. He made a huge impact with songs like Don Raja and whatnot.
Absolutely.
So now, do you see yourself actually copying and emulating the same style as Stephen Kapoor or Apache Indian?
I don't think so, only in the sense that I don't believe even they were trying to copy a style when they did something that big, right? So leaders create industries, they don't lead them, right? I think that he created a subgenre of hip-hop that is now known as Desi hip-hop. I think I'm in a different vein. I believe that there is another subgenre that I believe I want to try and recreate, which is more of a blend between East Coast hip-hop and the urban Desi sound. So 75-25 versus half and half. It's a new avenue that I believe I have many people that follow the same route in terms of their taste in music. And I think that we can garner that attention for sure.
Coming back to Hayati, I mean, of course, with the grand success of Hayati, is there any upcoming collaborations with A.R. Rahman or any of the music composers from India?
Not at the moment, but I am working, me and my manager are working, you know, to keep in touch with the industry and make sure that we're connecting with as many people as possible. I'm doing a lot of interviews in Chennai right now, video interviews and radio interviews that were garnered upon that, you know, that release. So I do want to make sure that I stay current in India, all over, North, South, Bollywood, Kollywood, Tollywood, all of them. And I think that I'm, you know, if you like the way that Hayati sounded and you wanted something similar or different based on my other styles of hip-hop, I don't think that would be a problem for me, and I'm more than willing to participate, for sure.
When we talk about Hayati, going back to my opening statement, that a moment like this, some people wait a lifetime, and you're very fortunate that it happened very early in your career. I mean, with everything, your perseverance of over 15 years of dedication and whatnot. But when that moment finally came for your family, I mean, basically migrated from India, and they've been well in tune with American music, but it's always a sense of pride whenever their children is recognized by the Indian film fraternity or by, by any of the movies in India. So describe that feeling for your family.
Sure. My dad and my sister are very into Bollywood and Hindi movies, and like they're very big about the entertainment scene in India. So my dad organized shows for all of these Kishore Kumar, Lata Mangeshkar back at Nassau Coliseum in the 70s and 80s. So he's deeply connected into that whole scene and the media. And my mom has always been involved in the nonprofit organizations in New York, like Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, and she has a dance school under them, Northern Rung Dance School. So we've always been culturally involved in that as well. So this is a field day for all of them because they're much more ingrained in that scene than I am even. So it was a sense of pride for me to be able to give them that joy. So.
Definitely. All right, so we're just about a few moments away from wrapping up our discussion, but a few easy, lighthearted questions I would just like to pose forward to you. So what would you say is the key element to your success as an artist, and what do you think is most imperative for all young and aspiring hip-hop, rap artists, or any form of singers?
Sure. I think that the most important thing, and it sounds cliche, but it's cliche for a reason, is that just don't stop. Because the only thing that you can do, practice makes perfect, correct? So if you have the intention that when you start writing raps, you're going to be a billionaire, you're going to get frustrated very fast.
Correct.
If you do it because you love it, and in simple terms, you can't not do it, then you're going to do it enough where you just become good at it, because practice makes perfect. So you will consistently find yourself correcting your flaws and readjusting and making it better and listening to outside criticisms and seeing if they're right or wrong based on your taste, and you're catching that vibe of whatever you're making. This goes for anyone. It goes for painting, it goes for dancers, it goes for singers, rappers, anything, literally anything that you do that you really passionate about. The only thing you can do about it is just keep doing it.
And overall, of all the songs you've produced, whether it's Hayati, whether it's all your tracks in social exception, or whether it's social understanding, what's your overall message to all the people, all your listeners, that, means something, an underlying message that they should understand about you?
I would like to tell everybody that I make my music with love, I make them with good intentions, and I really, really think I have a positive message to share with y'all. So if I could connect with anyone through my lyrics, that would be that's exactly who I am. I want to be able to spread my message with you, which is love, positivity, and peace.
So talking about love, positivity, and peace, that's something that he's connected with all his listeners and, of course, connected with all our viewers today. We are truly, truly blessed to have you. And we want to say congratulations once again on the success of Hayati. And much. Looking forward to some more success. We can't wait to see the story, the successful journey unfold. And, of course, I can't wait to one day list you amongst all the elites, as mentioned, some of the great names, such as Jay-Z, Eminem. I see you actually going up there. So maintain perseverance and dedication. You are on the clear path, to having such a journey of those great individuals. Final word, if there's anything else you would like to add, anything inspirational, and also just a reminder as to how one can follow you, whether it's social media and also all your, SoundCloud and whatnot.
Absolutely, Iman. First of all, thank you. You've been great. And
thank you.
I'd like to thank everyone for listening. And if you could catch me on SoundCloud, Twitter, Instagram, at Thoughts For Now, THOUGHTSFORNOW. That's Thoughts For Now. And you'll get the links to everything from there, or go to www.beatjunkiemusic.com. And love and peace, that's all I'm about.
Love and peace, that's what he's all about. That's what we're all about. So once again, Shiv, congratulations once again. Thank you for coming by and speaking to all our viewers. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
And I would like to say thank you to your manager, who's also your sister as well.
Yes, Siddhi Vaishnav, fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. And we cannot conclude today's program without giving full credit to a special individual who connected both of us together. And she's my colleague and also the main host on ITV Gold, Miss Aditi Lamba. So I want to say thank you to her for connecting us with you, and also giving you the opportunity to connect with all our viewers as well. So very special thank you and acknowledgement goes out to Mr. Ravi Kumar, the staff at management of ITV Gold, as well as Parak Worldwide Media. This is yours truly saying to you that our time with you is officially over. We've enjoyed being in your company. We do hope you've enjoyed ours as well. Until next week, we are definitely looking out for you.
Hayati, Hayati, Hayati.
Spit too quick, but I hit my stride. Flow fluid, I'm a wavy guy. Full moon bright, I'ma tip the tides. If you had a bad night, I could flip the vibe. Out in LA in the coupe when I ride. When I'm on the East Coast, got New York pride. On the Greece Coast, see white all sides. In the Far East, cover of the Mumbai Times.